and you're watching to the Black Eagles podcast, a Beşiktaş talk show.
Ahmet Dursun Sergen aldı. Sergen Bülent yan yana. Sergen Bülent. Sergen. Yanında Tümer var. Tümer'e doğru aksın kaybetti. Tümer topu aldı. Sergen aldı. Gol! Gol! Gol! Sergen attı. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi.
İbrahim'in pası. Zuma. Şimdi Ahmet. İkinci gole gidiyor Beşiktaş. Ahmet. Ve
Hello, Black Eagles. Welcome back to the Black Eagles podcast. I'm gonna lie now, the final match of 2024, not our final episode, because on Friday, as you can see in the lower right corner there, we have a special on the elections coming up on Monday. However, this is our last match report for the last match of the 2024 calendar year. My name is Kambazit, and as always, I am joined by one of my co-hosts, at least today, because Sinan couldn't make it due to the Christmas stuff with his family and all that. So I'm joined today by my good friend from Scotland, Glasgow, is Mr. Kartal. Kartal, how are you doing, sir? How are things in Scotland?
Be completely fine if Beşiktaş isn't fine, but other than Beşiktaş, I'm good, man.
That's good to hear, man. That's good to hear. You celebrate Christmas as well, I know, because of your family. What's the plans for the Christmas holiday?
I mean, we're just going to go to my mum and dad's house, have some Christmas dinner, and then what we normally do is we'll play like games in the evening, like charades. Do you know what charades is?
Yeah, of course, yeah, like guess games.
Yeah, so we play that kind of stuff. It's always a good laugh.
Okay, that sounds like fun. And anything special that your mom or your dad? Who cooks? Is it your mom or your dad?
Well, this year, we've actually ordered from outside. So you place an order, they give you your dinner.
Yeah.
You pick it up in the morning, and then you just need to heat it up. So it's a year off for my mum and dad. Well, not completely, because a couple of them didn't like the options. So I think a couple of us are going to make stuff. I think my dad's going to sort that. But the majority of us were just going to have dinner from a restaurant that's doing like a Christmas collection thing.
A Christmas menu. So,
yeah,
so what do I have to imagine? Is it like stuffed turkey or something along those lines?
I think it's turkey, and then you'll probably get your Brussels sprouts, your roast potatoes, or we call them in Scotland our roast totties.
Brussels sprouts. Oof, I don't like that, man. It's only
We'll probably have some carrots and stuff like that. Just the usual, you know.
all right.
Comes with like a dessert as well, and this place is known for doing like very, very big cakes. So just a very big slice of cake each.
Okay.
And then I think my mum's going to make some soup as well, just for a starter.
Yeah.
Tobacco jet.
In my family, we always used to do, when I was little, we used to have like this massive family gathering with like all my aunts mainly, and then my one uncle on my mom's side, and where we used to live, we had like a really big what do they call those? Just a big room basically above the house. So not really. I can't come on the word right now. What do you call that thing above your house, under the roof? Jesus.
What, an attic?
Yeah, an attic, but it wasn't really an attic though. It was
A loft?
yeah, no, the house where we used to live used to be a farmhouse, and they used to put like haystacks and stuff up there. But like my uncles, who, you know, my aunts, my mom's sisters married to, like they renovated that at some point in the 90s, and they made that into like almost like a hall where we could host family affairs like that. And Christmas we would always do gourmet, which basically meant just little. My one of my uncles is a butcher, and it's essentially like just all little tiny bits of meat, and you cook it on a hot plate on like a plate, and you'd have it with like raw vegetables and cold pasta and stuff like that. We don't do the whole family thing anymore, unfortunately, but we still every Christmas I go with Kim, myself, and Aiden. We go down to my mom's and we still do the gourmet dinner, so that's always good. And on the 1st of January, actually, my best friend's coming over, and we're doing it again because I love that. I love the little tiny bits of meat.
What's the traditional Christmas Day meal in Belgium?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. For me, it's that, but that's something a lot of people do. I think a lot of people do like fondue and stuff like that, like like with the cheese or just with the oil. So then instead of the little bits of meat, instead of so it's like little chicken fillets, little hamburgers, little sausages. Instead of doing those on like a fry plate or whatever, or like a stone. Usually it's like a stone grill. Instead of doing that, they dip it into hot oil fondue. I don't know if you know what that is, but there's also like a version of that with cheese. But then they don't cook meat in it. They just take bread and they dip it in the cheese. It's something I've always wanted to do because I'm a big cheese fan, but I've never done it actually, because people always tell me, you don't want to do that, it's just cheese. And I think, cheese is awesome.
Yeah, no, it seems like you already know because you said about stuffed turkey. It's always turkey here is the traditional meal at Christmas. And with like roast potatoes, Brussels sprouts, like peas, carrots, that kind of stuff, and then you have like a starter, which is like often like a prawn cocktail or something, and then choice, whatever you like. Obviously, Christmas pudding is traditional, but I don't think many people actually like that, so people just kind of buy what they want.
So what's a Christmas pudding then? Because in Belgium here, a pudding is something sweet, not savory. But I know...
Yeah, no, it's the dessert, normally, so it's sweet. It's like, you get like dried fruit in it, but it's not that nice, man.
So why would... okay, you don't like pudding?
I mean, I like other pudding, but I just don't like Christmas pudding.
All right. Well, enough chit chat about Christmas, making people hungry or watching. By the thousands of comments coming in, I can tell that a lot of people were looking forward to this episode. I do expect a little bit more of a lively chat room on Friday when we're gonna talk about the upcoming elections on Friday. On Sunday rather. But let's talk about this game. Katla, because we have to get it out of the way. It's the last match of 2024. Let's have a quick look at these lineups. Were you surprised at all by the lineup? What did you think of Beşiktaş's 11?
I was just happy to see that Masuaku was dropped for Zaynetdinov. I think Zaynetdinov's done a fine job at left back since he's been introduced back into the fold. Other than that, am I surprised? Not really. Because I knew that Rashica was hurt, Immobile's hurt, so I knew we wouldn't see Sami on the wing or Rashica on the wing. So Mucci over Jan Kayesh didn't really impress, and Mucci being back from injury, I think that was expected. Rafa Silva on the wing, expected. I think with the way Tupras has been doing, he's been playing with Sarati, Sari and Fernandes. That seems to be his midfield trio of choice. Only thing that was really a pleasant surprise, I think, that Bakhtiar was in instead of Baku. But then we'll get to it later on. Baku was later on introduced. The fans weren't too happy about that. I think everyone apart from Sardar Toprak knew what was going to happen if Masuaku was brought in. And that was just a very bad miscalculation from him, because I think it took the team back the way, and you just don't want to do that. Like, you want to keep the fans on side. You don't play that player that's had a lot of negativity from the fans. He's had a bad reaction from the fans as of late, and his performance has been shit. If he was playing good, I'd say fuck the fans, man. But he's been shit. Yeah, he's costing us in almost every game these days. So why keep playing him? Insist on playing him, man. Like, I know he he done the right thing by benching him, but like, why bring him on at all?
It makes very little sense. I also don't think you do him any favors with it because as we saw after the game, he was not happy, rightfully so. I think we've all, I think more. I have more than anyone on this podcast heckled Masuaku over the last couple of months, and I am definitely not a fan. Or rather, I guess I kind of used to like. I appreciated him. I thought he was a good football player. I still think he is that in potential, but definitely not in a Beşiktaş shirt anymore. And I think I've criticized him more than any of the three of us. I think out of the three of us, I've criticized him the most. I'll put it that way. But even, I understand the fans when he comes on that you boo him. But I do not understand the insistence on persistently booing him throughout the match. There was still 20 plus minutes in the game, 25 with added time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sorry?
You're just telling the team because that just doesn't affect Masuaku as well. It affects the team.
Yeah,
it
so does.
To be honest, I've been very critical of our fans and they're booing the players. I don't think you do it at all, man.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think it's not going to positively change anything.
I do think Masuaku deserves it. I think he deserves to be booed. But there's a place and time for it. I think you can boo him after the 6th or 7th goal he gave away, which, when was the last time he fumbled it? 2 games ago or something, I don't know. So if you then, after the kickoff, you boo him when he gets the ball, make it clear to him, hey, we're fed up with you and your shenanigans against Adana Demirspor, I guess. So I guess this was the first opportunity in a home game. I don't think you don't boo necessarily. I think there's certain situations where you can. I think Masuaku is definitely a player that deserved to get booed at least once.
You could boo him when he comes on and that's it. Cause when you're booing him every single time he gets the ball, that makes the full team uneasy. It doesn't just affect.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Really,
also,
you're there to support Beşiktaş. You're there to help Beşiktaş get a win, but really, it's having the opposite effect. You're damaging Beşiktaş's chances of getting 3 points in this game.
We had the exact same thing last season with Abubakar, where in many matches where we were tied or we were behind or whatever, he'd come on for the last 20 minutes or so, and the fans would just boo him every time he touched the ball. And you're just left thinking, okay, I mean, you made your point clear, but at this point, Beşiktaş needs a goal. Beşiktaş needs something from this guy, and you're consistently booing him. Like with Masuaku, we boo him when he comes on, but then stop and start supporting the team again, at the very least. And I do not understand the logic behind continuously booing him, because it's not like we're not playing for anything anymore. We are still playing for a European ticket for next season, which is going to be very important. If we don't qualify for the Europa League or the Conference League, whatever, that costs the club at least 10 million euros. That's a lot of money. So, so even if as a fan you feel like, well, we got nothing to play for anymore, well, no, we still do. We still have next season, and maybe playing those early qualifiers in the Conference League or in the Europa League or whatever isn't ideal. Although I'd argue that having some games of importance early in the preseason is good, because it shocks you into having to be ready for the season. But we have that, and we have that to play for, and you can't just abandon the team like that because you're upset. I mean, we're all upset, right? With the performance. What did you think of the performance in general, though? Because in that first half in particular, I really thought that we were poor, man. We didn't create anything. I felt like it was going to be Alanyaspor who was going to score the second goal, not us.
Oh, we're shit, man. We're terrible. The whole game, apart from the goal, there was one chance for Sami, and that's it. Obviously, he should be scoring that every time, but he miskicks it. These things happen. Yeah. But we were awful, man. We didn't create anything apart from that goal and that chance. There was a couple of half chances. One where Rafa kind of flicked it on, but there was a guy right behind him, so it was hard. Sami had that bicycle kick, but that was not a chance, man. You can't call that. You can't call that a chance. Alanyaspor kind of showed a bit more intent, I think, in that first half, not so much in the second.
They even scored a goal. It was disallowed, but they scored a goal.
I mean, that's offside, so you can't count that. I'd say, to be fair, we still did have the best chance outside the goals for Sami. Because they had kind of one half chance for that guy. Was it Makulala? The guy with the long hair?
Well, I think that the chance Sami gets is that's...
100%.
That was really a good chance. That's brilliant. I mean, how Rafa found him. And that's, I want to talk about it in a little bit because we talked about it off air already, but some of Sergen's comments, I want to talk about those. But yeah, I think that's a chance where at the very least you need to hit that. And if you hit it and you hit it straight at the goalkeeper, yeah, that's bad. But it's you have to be able to get that between the sticks. And he just fluffs it and... Yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah, if people are thinking, what are we talking about? We're talking about a really big chance around the 80th minute or something like that in the second half where Rafa goes on the left wing and he plays a really neat pass in the box where he just finds Sami in an open area unmarked, and all Sami has to do is just smash it at goal, and most likely it would be a goal. Now, okay, he could smash it straight at the goalkeeper and then, yeah, okay, whatever, but he has like plenty of space, and yeah, that's just a 100% chance, and you have to score that one. And I think if Ciro is playing, I think he scores that. I think if that's Ciro in that situation, and don't get me wrong, I think Ciro has had chances this season where he's gotten crosses from Rasička and stuff like that, where he doesn't hit it very well. Those were like middle-high balls, which aren't as easy. This was just a pass right to his feet, and all Sami has to do is smash it in one of the corners.
Yeah, it should be man every time. I mean, but you can't just say, "Oh, we drew this game because of Sami, man." Well, the whole team wasn't good.
No.
We didn't create anywhere near enough chances. You literally had 2 chances all game, and one of them was a goal, and one of them was that. And the goal really just was purely down to Rafa just sniffing out that mistake was going to be made and chasing down that ball. And it was a brilliant goal, to be honest, from Rafa Silva, just individually. Just knowing, this guy's going to fuck up this ball back. I'm going to chase it, and then he does. He takes it around the keeper and puts it in the net. It was brilliant. Great display of instinct and pace as well. It was really, really good. But I'm not happy with Emirhan Topçu, who I've been a big fan of, to be honest. But I wasn't happy with him with their goal. Yeah. Right, because obviously they went 1-0 up and then we basically equalised straight away. Emirhan falls during their goal. He goes down too easily. And then because of that, the guy's he's empty, so he's able just to put the ball in the net quite easily. So he should have done a lot better there. Instead of trying to get a cheap foul, he should be staying on his feet and kissing the offensive player. So I'm happy with that. There's a couple of things. I mean, even at the end, we almost scored, man. If Mustafa Hekimoğlu controls that ball properly, passes it to Ox, we probably win this game. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember. I remember the goalkeeper coming out and making a little bit of a mess of it, and it falls to Mustafa, and his first touch is poor, and then he slides through and gets booked. I think that the yellow card was probably harsh, but yeah,
it's not an issue, man. You should be fucking controlling that ball as a pro.
Yeah, of course.
Passing it to Ox, and then we probably score.
But that's also what I'm talking about whenever I'm talking about our youth academy and our players. So like Mustafa is 17 years old, but like these kids are playing at such a low level. They're playing at a really, really, really low level. The under 19 league is not a good level to play at. These kids are under 19s, like the good ones, the ones with talent, the ones that we hope can be of value to Beşiktaş, whether it is on the pitch or monetarily, by selling them or whatever. these kids need to be playing competitive football at that age. Okay, 17 is maybe a little bit young, although, you know, I mean, look at Ajax. Whenever they have a young kid that's any good, you know, they make their debuts at 16, 17. And I think the only way you can get players to that level quicker is by having those kids play at a competitive level. And I've said this many times over the last decade or so. If you have, for example, a second team in the Birinci League or the Ikinci League playing second or third tier Turkish football, and they're playing against actual men week in, week out, yeah, these players would be so much further along. I think Mustafa Hekimoğlu would also be so much further along right now. And I think whenever you see him now, yeah, he's not ready. He's not ready for this. And the problem is that he's not going to be any more ready next year if he's just going to be playing under 19 matches and get the sporadic 10 minutes for Beşiktaş. Like, he needs to... I mean, for Mustafa, we should find a club next season that's willing to play him and give some guarantees. Because, you know, what benefit does that kid have from 2 years or 3 years on the bench at Beşiktaş? Nothing. It doesn't become better. You know, or very minorly.
I think it was a poor decision as well to have him kind of be your second choice striker going into the season as well. Like,
yeah, I mean, I've said that from the beginning. That's a very poor choice. Like, you can't put that on a 17-year-old kid unless he's like ridiculously talented. But Mustafa isn't. You know, Mustafa definitely could be a good Super League level player, maybe even a Beşiktaş level player. He's still so young. But right now he isn't, and we shouldn't put him in an unfair position like that. He's not ready for it yet. You know, Sami is ready for playing regularly for Beşiktaş. That's a different thing. Now, he's not playing well at the moment. That's a different story. But he is of a different level, but he's also 2 years older, you know? Yeah, it's... Sorry, go ahead.
Do you want to go to that penalty shout we had, Kat?
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at that one off air. Well, just before we came on air, I should say. And, like, to me, I thought, when it happened, I thought that's a penalty. And then some people said, well, no, it's not a penalty because it hits his body first. But that actually doesn't matter. Because when you're shooting or, you know, and that ball is heading toward goal. Now, whether that's a pass or a shot, that doesn't really matter. The ball's heading towards goal. The player is making his own body unnaturally wider. So that's a penalty. But then I was looking at the replay, and I have the distinct impression that ball is... like, that arm is not in the box. And I'm going to show you an image of it in a second. I'm just cropping it right now. I don't know what you think, Kachtel. I mean, I think if that's in the box, it has to be a penalty. All the referees, all the you know, the trio referees and stuff like that, the referee pundits, they all agree that's a penalty. But I think it might... The only reason I can think of that they didn't give it is if it's outside the box. But, yeah.
I want to just say something here. I don't think we can definitively prove either way. But maybe because it's not definitive, that's why it wasn't called to VAR.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just gonna bring it up here. Let's see. Just uno momento. I should have prepared this beforehand. But yeah, I think it is kind of difficult. But I mean, like, did you see the penalty that Galatasaray got the other day? You see that one? So here's the position. I mean, look.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I don't think you can definitively tell, man.
No. And if gun to my head, if you'd ask me if that's in or out, I would say out. Because his legs are definitely in the box. But I think that arm is right above or across the line on the other end. So that's a tough one. If it's in the box, it's a penalty, though. because that arm has no business being there. That is an unnatural position. He's making his body significantly wider. He's deliberately blocking that shot/cross with it. So that's a penalty if it's in the box, 100%. I think. But I don't know if it's in the box.
Yeah, I can't say for sure either, man. I just wrote in the comments, guys, let us know, what do you think? Is that a penalty or not?
Yeah. Let us know, people. Yeah. I mean, and that's really it, right? There's not so much to talk about in this game. The chances were very limited. There's that one chance at the start of the second half. I missed it, actually, because the game was like I started the game. I don't know what I was doing, but I missed it for some reason. Which is the lob from Jetson. But you said that you think that probably would have gotten disallowed because of a potential fall from Sami on the defender.
Yeah, because he goes right into the back of him. Knocks him.
Yeah. I
think
mean,
that rolled off.
Regardless, though, I mean, let's say it's not a foul. That's a big chance as well. Like, he has to, like,
Yeah,
Jetson should score that.
It is, but it's a foul, so I'm not going to count it as a chance when there's been a foul before it. And I'm 99% sure it's going to get pulled off.
Yep. And also worth mentioning that on that chance for Simi that we were talking about, actually, Jetson is paying attention, and he almost scores.
Yeah.
But he can't get it past the goalkeeper. But the goalkeeper did really well there. No criticism on Jetson there. I think Jetson did well. But that was a massive chance. In first instance, Sami should have scored, but then Jetson almost still turns it into a goal.
Do you want to go to the stats, Cam?
Yeah, let's go to the stats, and then we can talk about the quote from Sergen about Sami. We can have a little bit of a discussion about that. Let's have a look here at these stats. Will you do the honors, Kartal?
Yeah, so ball possession, 56% in our favour, they're 44. Expected goals, 1.36 for us compared to 0.62 for them. So it was highly in favour of us. Total shots, 12 for us and 9 for them. Shots on target, 5 for us, 1 for them. Big chances, 2 for us, 1 for them. Big chances missed, 1 for us, 0 for them. Accurate passes, 352%. 352 accurate passes for us, which was 77% of our passes. They had 264, which was 75% of their passes. Fouls committed, 16 apiece. We were offside twice, they were offside 4 times. One of them was a disallowed goal. 6 corners for us, 7 for them. So if you look at the XG and the shots, you could say, well, we probably deserve to win this game, but really, we didn't really do much, man. So I can't say we thoroughly deserved it. Maybe it edged it based off of the fact that we had one big chance missed and they didn't have any.
Yeah.
For Jules, 50% each side, 63 to 64. Well, really, it's not 50% each then. So they're slightly better than us in terms of the Jules. Ground Jules, they have a 52% advantage to our 48%. Aerial duels, we won 24 to 21, which was 53% in our favour. 6 successful dribbles for us, which is really bad, at a clip of 32%. So that means that we tried like 19 dribbles and only completed 6, which is really bad, man. They had 5 at a percentage of 45%, which means they tried 11, which is slightly better than us, but still not good for them. Yellow cards, 1 for us, which was to Mustafa Erhan Hekimoğlu. They had 2, and to be honest, I can't remember who got the yellow cards for them. But that's the stats.
Yeah, I feel like one of the most noteworthy things of this game was probably the referee's horrendous appliance of the advantage rule. I think there were 2 or 3 moments where there was a clear advantage to be given, and he blew his whistle almost instantly. Oh, is that you, Kato?
I'm typing.
Sorry? Oh, you're typing. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, other than that, there's very little to talk about in this match. I do think The XG looks a little high for us because of the limited amount of chances. I guess the one that Rafa had was a really big one. The one that Jetson... I mean, obviously, it will count the Jetson lob because that fall never was given. So it counts it probably as an empty net. So that's a pretty big chance. And then right at the end, of course, that's also a big chance. But, I think we're doing a really bad job at creating chances. We've gone from 4-5 big chances per game at home, at least, to now 2. That is just not good enough. I don't have the numbers here right now for the last couple of games, but like our chance creation is just appalling. And it hasn't been great all season. It's been kind of poor all season. We've been talking about it for a long time because, of course,
all season, man. That we were really good at it at the start. Like Galatasaray game, Lugano game, both Lugano games, and Alanyaspor game. The chance creation in those games was good, man.
I mean, how many did we create? Like 6 or so. I mean, it's not bad, but
I think we had like 8 or 9 vs Antalya. Several against Lugano, we had like 10, 11, and one as well against Galatasaray.
Big chances against Lugano, really? 10, 11?
11 chances in the game we won 5-1.
Yeah,
11.
okay.
Do you not remember after that game we were saying it could have been 10?
Yeah, it's possible. It's all fading away in the misery right now. But
So I wouldn't say all season, to be honest. I think our chance creation at the start of the season was the best it's been in years, but it sounds that it's taken a dip.
But it's literally it's a handful of matches, and that's just not like if you look at the median of the season, like our chance creation has been poor, I would say, and it's been for a while.
It's been bad outside maybe 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
It's not been.
Yeah,
But
and that you could
send a message. Can just look at that in the chat. Can you see that?
What chat?
On this one, the chat, YouTube chat's not showing up in the feed.
Oh, the YouTube chat isn't showing up? Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll try to fix that.
Them through just now. Finish kebab. Put 2 eagle emojis. I said penalty or not. Tell us your thoughts, guys. You also said it's on the line.
Yeah. And on the line normally means in, I believe. So let's see. Hopefully that fixes it. It's not fixing it though. Yeah, I don't know why the live chat isn't working. Sometimes it does that, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, if it's on the line, but I think the problem is here, yeah. VAR probably couldn't see either way, whether it was or wasn't. And if yeah, I mean, I think the referee on the pitch should be giving that. I think that's one of those situations where if he gives it, I don't think VAR will overturn it because, like you said, I don't think you can say either whether it is or isn't. If you don't look at the penalty that Galatasaray got the other day, I mean, it's so frustrating, man. Like, I don't think it's been so gross this season because I don't think there have been like penalties that we've been robbed of necessarily. I do definitely think this is one of those where you're like, how do they not give that? That's a very difficult one. And the
other guy's one, the arm was tucked all the way in and they still got the penalty.
Yeah, exactly.
How does that happen?
Yeah,
I suppose did they not win like 5-1 or something? So there's
but that was the 1-0 though. That's that's their 1-0, and that sets them up for an easy afternoon. Granted, Kayseri equalized after that, but if Galatasaray don't score that, maybe Kayseri take the lead, and maybe then they burrow in and the match changes. I don't know. You don't know how the game is gonna go, but it's I mean, I don't understand why would Galatasaray need more help? I mean, they don't need help in the first place, and then refs are gonna give them penalties like that. But then for us, this is a clear penalty, I think, if it's in the box. and you don't give it. And I don't think the referee can say that, okay, that's definitely out the box. I think he should be giving it. And if it's not in the box, VAR will help him and tell him, no, it's not in the box. I think that's how the referee should be acting. I don't think the referee should be like, oh, well, I don't think it's in. So if it is in, then, yeah, you know, I feel like that's kind of, I don't know. Maybe that's just me being a little bit biased. But is there anything else that you really want to talk about from this game, Cartel, that you can think of?
I want to just talk about the election a wee bit, to be honest.
Yeah, but before we do that, though, because we're going to talk a bunch about the election on Friday already, we don't want to kill all our talking points, but we'll definitely talk a little bit about it. But I wanted to talk about what Sergen had to say, though, about Simi. Because you took exception to that, I think, or at least...
Yeah, I wasn't happy with it, man.
Do you disagree with him?
I do disagree.
Maybe you should say maybe
that boy's won us games last season.
Yeah, but maybe it's worth saying what he said first. Do you mind? You can paraphrase him.
He basically said that Simi's not a guy that's going to win you football games, and he said even at the age of 30 he won't be either because he doesn't have that talent.
Yeah, but when you know what he means when he says that, right? Like it doesn't mean that he's not going to win you football matches. It means he's not the type of player that would break open a game. You know,
no, he's literally done it last season, man. He beat Trabzonspor himself last year.
Yeah, but do you see that as do you think that that's a talent that he will consistently provide?
He's only 19 years old, man. So
I know, but that doesn't.
I think it's very honest to say that he wouldn't be that age.
But you need to look at his style. Like, how does he play? What does he do? What is Sami good at? What's his style of play? And can you then say, okay, you know what? He's definitely a player that's like, for example, with Rafa, like you can tell he's that type of player. He's gonna. That's his strength, like unlocking a lock. Rafa has these at least 3-4 moments in a game where he could break open the opponent. Doesn't mean he does, but he has those moments. I don't think Simi has that. I don't see, like, I mean, when Simi, for example, like if you look at this goal against Kasımpaşa, you know, the dribble at the end of the season. Where you could say, okay, but yeah, Simi scores goals where he dribbles past 5 guys and then scores. Or, for example, the goal against Trabzon, where, you know, he did really well as well with a dribble. I feel like with Simi, I've said this before, like very often when he goes on one of those runs, it's head down and run. And he kind of feels almost his opponents. And he like wrestles himself past them, and like it's always, I feel like with Simi it's always a question of determination, of getting stuck in. It's not necessarily talent, if you will. It's more mentality, if that makes sense. I don't think that.
Can't say that for example, that goal against Kasımpaşa, you can't say that's not talent.
I'm not saying it's not talent, but I think that's more determination than it is talent. If that makes sense.
I think it's very, very harsh, man, what Sergen said. Maybe he's not.
Oh yeah, of course, game
winner just now, but he was a consistent game winner for 3 months last year.
Yeah, but that's not consistent though.
Yeah, but that's over a 3 months. It's not a very small stretch. It's a fair sized stretch. And I think he's only 19 years old. In 3 years' time, maybe he's doing that for a full season consistently. You don't know. So to say he's not going to be that guy, he's not consistent enough just now to be a consistent match winner at age 19. But to say he's not got that talent and he won't be that 30 either is a disgrace. I think that's a terrible comment to make. I think he could easily be that player in 3 years' time. Easily. So I'm not saying he's going to be, but he could be. There's a good chance he will be.
But what talent does Simi have that makes you think he would?
He's got a good shot at the ball. He can beat his man. He's not very fast, but he's fairly quick. He's strong. His dribbling's good. I mean, not very good, but his dribbling's pretty decent, man. He can take it past players. He needs to kind of sort that out where he looks up more, I agree. But he's
sorry to interrupt, but like I agree with you. Like he can beat his man, his dribbling is decent, but he doesn't do it constantly. Like he has played so many games on the wing, and how often do you see him run at an opponent, dribble past him, do something crazy, whatever? Like take for example Maximin as an example. That's a win.
Yeah, no, it's not that just now, man. But Maximin's not a game winner either because
no. I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying he is. But that is a player that is consistent. Take Yusuf Sarr. Like that's a player that's constantly looking for his direct opponent and tries to beat him. Simi doesn't really do that.
He's won penalties this season. I'm not saying he's doing it consistently just now. But he's won games this season, actually. Like, look at that Aimsport game. Say he wins that game for us. Well, I'd argue maybe it was Typhoid being good, but that's a different chat.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, right? And like, if you look at the penalties that he's won this season, that's more the defender messing up than it's him really winning him. I think, honestly, I mean, he does well there, but yeah, I think
look, he's not there, man. He's not consistent yet, but I think. To say that he's not going to be that guy, he's never going to be that guy. Come on, man. That's not fair.
Yeah, I think it's harsh. I agree with you, but I also don't see how he would be.
So you don't see Sami being a match. You don't see Sami being a big player for us at age 30.
There's a difference between being a big player and being somebody that like. What Sergen means is he means types like himself. Types like Alex, Haji, magicians essentially. I don't think Sami will ever be that. I don't think so.
Like, but he doesn't say a magician. He says
no, that's not what he says. But I think that is what he means because he also says in that same vein, he says, "Well, Rafa is that type of player," and I think.
He said Mertens as well.
Yeah, but Mertens also is or was.
Well,
they're those are those types of players. Like if you take for example Ciro Immobile, is a guy who's been top scorer in Italy multiple times. I would argue he doesn't meet that criteria either.
Well, if you're actually saying game winner and not
no, of course, like he wins you matches with his goals. But I don't. Yeah, but
it just shows you that he's not thinking. He's not actually say. You should think about what he actually saying means, and then say it.
That's how I interpret it. Like I mean.
Do you not think that he should be more careful in the way he phrases things? Because match winner doesn't mean creative player.
No. I don't think he should. No, he's a pundit. He's not our coach.
Well, according to Sami, he's going to come in January, which, to be honest, I really hope he doesn't at this point.
I mean, yeah, once he is our coach, it's a different story. If he then goes on and he talks about.
How do you expect Sami to? Do you think Sami's going to feel good with him as his coach after he said that?
Do you think Sami feels good now?
No, but do you think we need someone that's going to be able to nurture Sami and bring him back on side? Do you think Sergen's going to be able to do that?
Yeah, why not? I don't think. I mean, I think if as a football player you are that small that some guy on television criticizing you.
Yeah, but he's going to be your coach now. That's different. Most guys that are talking shit on TV don't become your coach a few weeks later.
Yeah, but who did he criticize this season where it was not correct? Like for example, he shat on Musrati, but was he wrong?
I mean, I'm pretty sure at one point he even said something about Rafa, but I think he's recently backtracked and said he's good. I mean, he's been what he said, but also sometimes the guy makes no sense. One week he's saying that Ox is a great player, then the week after he's saying, "Oh, I don't think this guy's in a situation to play football and stuff like that."
Yeah, but I mean,
and they said the same thing about Masuaku. Like the other week he's saying Masuaku's a good player, now he's saying, "Oh, why is he playing?"
Well, that's different. I think we can all agree. You and I agree. Masuaku is a good football player, right?
Yes.
But
I
should
thought
he, but should he be playing?
No, he shouldn't be playing just now.
There. So we say the exact same thing.
He was trying to defending him at that point in time. Like 2 weeks ago, he was defending him, and now he's not.
Yeah, because he's saying he's a good football player, but after what's happened, after what the president has said and stuff like that, and after the last game, like you can't. If you make the decision to cut him, why do you still bring him on? You're literally you're cutting him. You know the reaction that's going to come. Why are you putting him on in minute 70? That makes no sense.
He shouldn't have brought him on, but it's just quite funny that a guy that was seemingly defending Masuaku 2 weeks ago on TV is now flip-flopped on him.
Yeah, but can you? Yeah, but did he say that Masuaku was shit? Did he say that?
He didn't say he was shit, no.
No, I mean, like he's saying he shouldn't be bringing it. Why is he bringing him on? It makes no sense, and he's right. Is Masuaku objectively is Masuaku a bad football player? No, he's not a bad football player.
Yeah, he's not. But we've been shitting on him for weeks.
Yeah, rightfully so. Months
even. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Sargan, I'm just saying 2 weeks is that. That's just kind of. It might have been 3 weeks ago, but recently Sargan's kind of came.
Are you hearing me now?
Well, I can hear you now, but what I was just saying.
The last 30 seconds, I didn't hear anything you said.
So I was quite annoyed about Sargan saying that he doesn't think this whole thing with like a head scout that's going to be the guy that builds a squad. I mean, it seems like Sardar is basically referring to a director of football that doesn't pick the coach, but doesn't want to use that term because it's now seen as taboo in Turkey.
Yeah.
But Sargan saying he doesn't think that'll work in Turkey, and because at that time we thought it was German, but now we've been told it's someone that works in Germany. It's can he not get a job in Germany? Why is he coming here? Like that's just stupid, man. And the thing is, see if Sargan wants to actually develop as a coach and become better, he needs to be more open to working in these types of environments with a more modern structure.
But
he's too stuck in the kind of.
Do you really think that Sergen do you think Sergen is that type of person that wants to become better and thing and that? I think Sergen already thinks he is hot shit.
He should be for his good, man.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think that's how Sergen sees it.
He doesn't. Of course he doesn't, man. That's why he says the fucking stupid shit he says. Like, do you not think what he said about this whole head scout / squad builder, or basically someone that's going to be like a director of football, but they're not going to use that term? Do you not think his whole attitude towards that is bad?
Yeah, of course.
It's not good.
Of course.
I mean, we all know he just wants to get his fucking brother in, man, as the scouting coach or whatever the fuck his title was, man, back in the day.
We're getting a couple of comments, by the way. It's very annoying that they're not coming up on the screen still. Sorry, what did you say? Yeah, his brother. But I mean, I think his brother. I think his brother is. He scouts the opponents. I think that's his job. Like he does the preparation on, because you have different kind of scouts. You have a scout that that scouts talents or whatever, or players you want to sign, and you have scouts that go out and they watch the opponents in 2 weeks and they do an analysis on that, and I think that's what his brother does, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, no, of course. I mean, I think Sergen's methods are antiquated. He's not an old coach, but he definitely has the mentality of one. And yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I wasn't really a fan of Sergen coming, but it seems like the fan base though was really excited about Sergen coming. Now a lot of people don't want him.
Yeah,
hopefully so, because he said a lot of stupid shit.
Yeah, that's a good thing to point out, because like I think when Giovanni van Bronckhorst was first fired, the overwhelming majority of fans on an online poll, and I'm gonna go with Haberkartelle's polls because they tend to get like the most votes. Like the overwhelming majority of fans were wanting Sergen. Haberkartelle started a new poll, I think today or yesterday, and right now with 44,672 votes in, The nays have it. 51.9% of those people, so over 23,000 people, or something along those lines, voted no on do you want Sergen Yalchin to be the next coach? And I'm pretty sure that was a roughly 70-ish% yes a few weeks ago. So, I mean...
It just shows that he's having his own prospects of being able to come back.
That, and it also shows how fickle our fans are, I think. But look, he's been saying a lot worse for months. I think he has definitely taken. He's been a lot milder recently, ever since Arad resigned, because he clearly had a bone to pick with Arad, and understandably so. You know, now hearing the stuff coming out that Arad told him, "You're gonna be my coach. Don't sign with anyone else." When he was running, and then when he won the election, no phone call, nothing. So it's understandable that Sergen had a bone to pick with Arad, but he's been channeling it in a very negative way and in an unfair way towards the club. That he's been essentially behaving a little bit like a petulant child for the last couple of months. Yeah. And I definitely think since Arad has left the office, he has been a lot milder, and he has been more. I think he's been a lot kinder to Beşiktaş and the players. So I think if you voted 70% yes 2 weeks ago or whatever, or 3 weeks ago when Gio got sacked, and you're voting no now, I mean, he's being nicer now than he was then. So
I think people are just kind of disappointed that he didn't come when Beşiktaş was crying out for help.
Yeah.
So I think that's where a lot of votes, and then I think his comment about Sami yesterday and about the whole. I mean, I could have told you that he wouldn't want to work with a guy like that. So I don't see why there's so much outrage of Sergen saying the things he said yesterday. Like, it's clear as day, Sergen.
Oh, he's on record saying that he doesn't believe that works. So I think if your big plan is to bring Sergen as your coach, why suddenly do you start being like? I mean, Adali himself said days ago, "Oh, I don't think a sporting director works in Turkey." And now, after the debate he had with Yücel, and the public opinion changed, suddenly he's scrambling. And now he's like, "Oh, I'm getting a guy on Monday. I'm talking to a guy from Germany," and then you have all these, he's coming to Istanbul, and then you have all these reports. "Oh, it's Mario Gomez. It's this, it's that," and people are like, "Oh, I was leaning towards Yücel, but now I'm back on Team Adana."
Yeah,
just flip flopping, including yourself, Mr. Oor.
You can. I mean, this isn't. I'm a Beşiktaş fan, I mean, I don't give a fuck about Sardar. I don't give a fuck about Hussein or Hassan or Ahmet or Fikret. I care about Beşiktaş, man.
Yeah.
So whatever I think is going to be better for Beşiktaş, and whoever is saying they're going to do these things, to be honest, I don't think either candidate I've been on record is good. Out of the two, I think it's going to be slightly better. I'll say I back them, because I just care about Beşiktaş at the end of the day. So it's not.
Do you believe that a candidate who said 2-3 days ago, "I don't believe a sporting director works in Turkey," suddenly flip-flopping and wanting to bring in not a sporting director, you think that is somebody who's going to see that through? Or do you think we're just going to get another mess like we got now with Arad? I mean,
it's very possible it ends up a mess, but I'd like to hold out some hope that it works out, because it's something that I think should be done.
Yeah, but I would much rather than go with the guy who says, "No, I don't want to do that. I have this. I want to do this." Bam. I'd rather go with the guy who has a relatively clear vision. Then, whether I agree with it or not, at least he's gonna stick with it. And a guy who flip flops for the whims of the people, I don't trust that. That is not somebody I want in charge of the club, because that's not that's how Hasan Arat ran the club, apparently. He didn't want to upset anyone. I wanted to appease everyone, and then you end up in a situation where nobody's happy.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, can, but I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but as long as there's not going to be like 2 or 3 different heads on in football. If this guy's given proper control and that they do what he's saying with this guy, whoever it is, if they are competent, of course, I'd much rather that than have no proper football person running the football side of things, because I just want someone that knows what they're doing these transfers. I don't want fucking businessmen who most of them don't have an idea. Some of them are better than others, of course, in making these transfers. So that's why, even though he has changed them, to be fair, he's kind of flip-flopped more than once. Because if you remember, first they said, "Oh, we're thinking about a sporting director, but it's not the priority." And then it went to, "Oh, but I don't think it really works in Turkey." And now he's basically saying, "I'm going to bring in this guy it's like a head scout in Germany, and they're very successful at squad building. They're going to do the transfers for me, but it's not a sporting director." And I think the only difference, between what this guy who's going to bring in and a sporting director is, he's not going to pick the coach. But I think that's a bit of a problem as well, because I think they should be able to pick the coach.
Also, a question I have then. So he has this guy he wants to bring in to do the transfers and stuff like that. But he said on record in one of his interviews, "I have 2 transfers lined up already." So are those transfers still happening then? Or...
Yeah, no, I think in that case, it need to be vetted by whoever's coming in. And if whoever's coming in is approving of it, yeah, fair. If not, scrap it.
Do you really believe him when he says, "I have 2 transfers lined up"?
He might not, and if he does, he probably won't get the other guy to vet it. He'd probably just go ahead and do it.
And that'll then immediately create issues.
We saw Brad Friedel's transfers. We saw fucking Carshackle's transfers, Gio's transfers, Hussein Gio's transfers. Like, everyone had their own transfer. Like,
you can say what you want. I think Yücel had the best one.
I disagree.
I think Rafa's the best one, man.
I mean, Rafa's the best player, but in terms of longevity and the resale value, I think Emin Topçu and Felix Udokaya are the best transfers. Yeah, I think Rafa Silva is definitely the best player.
Yeah, they're doing a great job at destroying that resale value on Felix now at the moment, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, there's a thing that annoyed me about Hussein Yücel as well. Like, yesterday, he literally came out and said that we shot ourselves in the foot. If we just let the coach be, he would have been very successful. And he says we got involved.
He said that he said that he had confidence that Gio was going to be successful. You mean?
No. He said that everything was going great. We got involved too much and shot ourselves in the foot. He says that he believes he would have been successful if they never got involved like that.
Yeah.
So that's just accepting that on it when he's the second president, the fucking board members were getting involved in the coach's work. But then this guy's trusted to run the club now. Do you not think that's a bit fucked up as well?
I mean, definitely. But I think we had a big issue, a very big issue in the club there. Because there's too many people involved in the process, and people didn't seemingly know who's in charge, and I think that's a big issue.
And what I don't understand as well is okay, see if it's true that Gio wanted to go himself, fair enough. But if it's not, if you really believe in this guy, why would you not try and clean up the environment and get him back on side if you actually believe in him? It seems like then, if that's the case and you truly did believe in him, and it's not true that he wanted to go, it seems like they're just succumbing to fan pressure by sacking him. And now, a few weeks later, he's saying, "Oh, by the way, it wasn't Gio's fault. We fucked him over." That's what he said.
I mean,
he said everything was going great.
They fucked them over throughout the process, but I think at a certain point, when you reach a breaking point, and I've told you this off air as well, I think there's a point of no return, and I strongly have the impression that Gio reached that point. Although in Dutch media, he did say that he feels that if he was given, or he had hoped at least that he would be given more time. So I don't know, like this.
He said that in his farewell message on Instagram as well.
Mm-hmm. So the question is, I mean, there's these reports that he wanted to resign after the game against Göztepe. But how much can we trust those reports? Because let's be honest, I think they've been trying to sabotage Gio from the start.
Yeah. I mean, it's a real shame, man. Like, I'm upset, man. Because, I mean, maybe he was never going to be the guy for us, but because of how good we started, and then the fucking president himself coming out and saying that we fucked it up, we got involved too much and messed it up for the guy. Like, that makes me think, man, maybe we could have had something special and it was ruined, and now we'll never know.
Yeah.
Is that not really sad?
Of course. But I think it's been clear from the start, and I mean, I definitely didn't want to see it. I definitely wanted to just put my head in the sand and hope it would go well. But I think looking back at it, if you play Captain Hindsight, I think there are clear signs from the start that there were some serious things wrong behind the scenes with this board.
Yeah, and first time was that whole Cadro Dishy shit, man.
The whole Cadro Dishy shit was a big debacle, but like, not just that, there were like... I feel like they've been talking about transparency and stuff for ages as well, and like that just never really came off well. Like this, I feel like the club's never been less transparent than under Arad, and that's saying something, you know?
It's funny talking about transparency. For like the first 2 weeks, they put out posts about how many tickets were sold from different platforms, and was it the Paso League app or the website, and how that was the transparency, and it lasted 2 weeks, and then after that,
it did last 2 weeks. That was it's really sad, honestly. Do you want to get to some comments, Carthala? We don't have them up on the screen right now, but I could bring them up in a different way. I've been trying to fix it this entire time, but it's not working, unfortunately. So I'll have to bring them up in a different way. It's gonna look less fancy, but it'll work at least.
All right. So for the comments, Yusuf said it's on the line probably, which to you said if that's the case, you believe it's a penalty.
On the line means in.
Yep. So obviously, but there's no way that they could prove that decisively, so that's probably why they didn't get involved. Nathan Davis, the American Eagle, he said it was just cowardly refereeing, in his opinion. The ref was hoping not to be too involved in deciding the outcome. I mean, that's probably a fair point, man.
Yeah, but that is so bad though, because I feel like referees do that a lot. They're just avoiding responsibility. I think that's really poor.
Yeah. Eren has wrote, Galatasaray is the cry boy of the league for many years, and of course they will get what they want. I agree, Eren. That's too true, man. Yeah. Carlito, good evening all. Good evening, Carlito. Seeing another abysmal game, do you guys think that this team can be whipped into something decent for the next half? It just depends on who we sign, Carlito, and who the coach is. What do you think, Aaron?
That's such a difficult question. I do think I definitely think we need a coach ASAP. I'm trying to get this up here, but it doesn't. It definitely depends on getting a decent coach as quick as possible. That's very important. And then you just have to. Well, that's better, I guess. Then you just have to hope that it starts clicking a little bit and that you can get a couple of wins under your belt. I think what's clear is that right now I feel like the team, it's just the team looks shell shocked. I feel I've said this before, but it's like almost like we never recovered from that 3-3 game in Alanya. How pathetic is that? You know?
Yeah.
Because
that's
so
long
long ago.
Man, we haven't recovered from the 3-3 game against that damage.
Yeah, exactly. And that's so long ago. It's so long ago at this point.
Cool. Yeah. Let's go back to the comment. So, Erens wrote, Semi should idolise Pedro Gonçalves from Sporting Lisbon. For now, it seems he's not the one for striker, but he should turn himself into a player who has some striker abilities and wingers. To be honest, I don't know anything about Pedro Gonçalves, so I can't comment really. I think Semi would maybe be better as a striker in a 4-4-2, like a second striker.
Yeah, he's too small to be a lone striker, I think, and he's not quick and fast enough to be like an Aguero type, or like, you know what, like, I mean, don't you think it's rather telling that Rafa, every game, like, people are in the last couple of games, people are blaming Rafa for missing chances, but every game, Rafa manages to run in behind the defense, find himself in a position to receive the ball, his teammates find him, and he goes one-on-one with a goalkeeper. Yeah. How many times has Simi gone one-on-one with a goalkeeper this season?
In that kind of scenario, not like a one where we had in
not
this
just
game.
Not just Semi, by the way, Chiro too. And I definitely think that the fact that both of them kind of function as a lightning rod for Rafa has a lot to do with that. I think it's easier for a player in Rafa's position who isn't a striker to sneak in behind, because it's easier for the defenders to lose you, whereas both central defenders are usually watching the striker, you know? So, but still, I do still feel like if you're the striker, you should at least be getting in, you should be making runs and stuff. And I feel like Semi does too little of that. And I think if he was going to be a lone, like Aguero, like a really successful lone striker, I feel like he would be sneakier, he would be more intelligent about his movement, and he would be better and more instinctive at it. And I don't think he is, unfortunately. So I'm inclined to agree with you that I think Semi would probably fare better in a two-striker system. Unfortunately for Semi, there's very few clubs right now who are utilizing that.
Yeah, I agree. Irene again said that there is something or a problem in Semi's pace, just correcting that. Bro was like Luis Diaz a year ago, but now he can't even run properly.
Yeah. Well, I think definitely Semi has Semi has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders right now. There's a lot of expectations, and that might be unfair from us to expect so much from a young player like him so quickly. But yeah, on the other hand, I mean, I think that's one of the big calculation errors of the season, is where we went into the season as a club expecting Simi to produce, to build on his performance of last season. You know, he scored 11 goals last season, so I think the rationale was, well, he's definitely going to score 15 to 20 goals this season. You know, and he's going to improve on last season. And quite frankly, I think Simi he has played good games, no doubt. And I definitely think you shouldn't write Simi off as a striker yet, because this game was bad and the previous one was bad. But then he's also played good games as a striker. You know, against Malmo, I thought he was pretty good.
Against Başakşehir, I thought he was okay.
Yeah. And he's still only 19 years old.
Yeah, could development.
He could definitely. Is he ready for it? I think no, but at the same time as well, we have to say, like, Chiro has also had plenty of games this season where we didn't think he was contributing enough. And sometimes it's just difficult, you know, when you're the striker and the people around you who are supposed to feed you the ball are unable to feed you the ball consistently. How are you going to score goals? But yesterday, I mean, I think as a striker of Beşiktaş, if you get a chance like that, you need to be ready. It's like a goalkeeper. If you're the goalkeeper for Beşiktaş, you might not have to make 5, 6, 7 saves a game, but you'll have to make that one or those 2 saves that are very important. You need to always be ready, and the same thing is true for the striker. Especially a chance like that. That was not a difficult chance, I feel. I don't know if I'm being fair there. I think there's different, like, for example, I'm not gonna blame Sami for not scoring that overhead kick. You know, that's he creates that himself. But that position, that chance, that's something he needs to put away. If he wants to be the striker of Beşiktaş, he needs to put that away. And I would be saying the same thing for Ciro. Ciro needs to put that away too if he's in that position. But I think Ciro would. I could be wrong, of course. What do you think?
Yeah.
Rafa?
What I think about what Ciro, I think he could be good with wingers, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he could be. I think he could be good with wingers, with wingers that can actually feed him the ball.
Yeah.
I think he's like the ideal striker for Beşiktaş. Not really, because I do think in the last kind of, since I can remember, really, we've always fared better with pivot strikers.
Well, I definitely pivot. I definitely think that as Beşiktaş or Fenerbahçe or Galatasaray, I think ideally you need a striker that's strong in the air as well, who's good with the feet but also good in the air. When you play for, with all due respect, Lazio in Serie A, don't get me wrong, because Lazio have competed for the Scudetto in the last decade for sure. But I think Lazio you can compare a little bit more to Trabzonspor, or like a little bit more mid-table. And I think when you're the striker for a mid-table team, like look at Ray Manay for example. I think Ray Manay is never going to be as prolific at Beşiktaş as he would be at Sivasspor.
Yeah.
And then we had players like Gökhan Ünal in the past. Gökhan Ünal was prolific at Trabzonspor, but when he went to Fenerbahçe, he wasn't. I
remember that, man. They were so excited about him, man, but it never really panned out. It's Fenerbahçe, but for all the wee teams and all the Anadolu teams, he was very good at, man. He scored a lot.
So I think Ciro, he's a really good finisher. Otherwise, you don't score that many goals. But his aerial game isn't that strong, and I think his hold-up play as well is not good, and that's a thing that's important for us. I think you could get more out of Rafa as well if you have someone that's better holding up the ball. Because, see if Ciro was good with his back to the goal, just think about him getting a ball to the defender on his back. One of Rafa's best attributes is his runs. Yeah.
See, you had someone that can hold the ball.
They're not super complimentary.
They can run it behind, and you can hold the ball and give it to Rafa, and Rafa's away on the run. Like we don't see that really.
We saw it a little bit in the beginning. There was a lot of when Sami, Ciro, and not the hold-up play necessarily, but we saw a lot of Ciro pulling holes in the opposition's defense for Rafa to dive into.
That's not hold-up play. What I'm explaining.
But you don't have to You don't have to have that hold-up play. You can create chances in a different way.
But do you not think that would suit Rafa's strengths very nicely if he had someone that could be a ball, that could give the ball to, go around, get it back?
Yeah,
it'd be greatly beneficial, I think.
Of course, that would fit him fine. But I also think that a striker who moves intelligently and creates space for Rafa to dive into is also fine. The problem is that you then also have to have players to play the ball, and I think we like that for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see, we have another.
Immobile, as much as I don't think he's our ideal striker, at the same time, I think he's not had the service, man. And if we get 2 good wingers, like Sardar, let's be honest, Adal, I think is going to win this election. I think it's looking like that way in the majority of the polls. Although we don't know, as we discussed on the VIP and the Patreon, there's suspicion that there's a lot of bots going about, so you can't say for sure.
Well, I find it very suspicious that Kartalist Haber did a closed poll with only the followers being able to vote, and then Yücel won relatively resoundingly. I think it was like 58%. But then the open poll where there was a lot of votes. Haber Cartali gets a lot of votes, like 30, 40K, but I think it had like a 90K or something. And that was more heavily skewed towards Adala, and I that was suspicious because I saw those polls when they launched, and like the first 6,000 or so votes, that Yücel was winning, and then suddenly like 6,000 turned into 13,000 real quick, and then it changed. But I find that weird. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
If we get, I mean, say let's say Adala wins and he's saying we're going to sign 2 wingers and a fullback and possibly a striker as well. So he says it could be 4 signings. If we sign 2 wingers and they're 2 good wingers, and Chiro's getting good service off of them, we could see a complete Chiro and Mobley in the second half of the season if he stays fit, because he struggled with that as well.
But do you really think we're gonna sign 2 good wingers in January?
It's hard, man. Yeah. But you've got to have that hope.
Yeah, you gotta, but I don't know, man. I think signing 2. I think you need a lot of money to sign 2 good wingers in January. Like they're like.
Let's see how much money he gets off of these so-called sponsors, man. Let's just wait and see. Supposedly it's going to be covered by sponsors, so let's just wait and see, man. But I'll get back to the comments because we never actually finished them all.
Yeah.
So the next one was Eren saying Masuaku is not bad. He's horrible. He has been horrible for the most part this season. I agree, Eren.
Yeah, he's been horrible for us, but he's not a bad football player. But
Nathan Davis, if we won the Maccabi match, Gio would still be here. I don't know, man.
I don't think so.
Because I get the feeling that Yücel didn't really want to work with him, even though, I mean, his comments the other day kind of a bit contradicting to that, saying that he thinks that they kind of ruined it for him by getting too involved, and the system was going well, and he really believed that Gio would be successful. Yeah. I mean, that kind of says that he did support him, but the fact that one of his first things to do was sack him, and the news at the time was saying that he's even said himself he wanted to work with Sergen, so I don't think so, man.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I don't know. It's so, I feel like Adala is definitely doing the majority of the flip flopping, but I think Yücel here as well with that comment. It's like, well, I feel like it's so contradicting. It feels like, you know.
Yeah. And it's just confirmed what I thought. I mean, combining the Brad and Sami fighting behind the scenes, Sami talking shit about him apparently, or Brad Friedel, according to Yücel, Brad Friedel was basically telling Gio that Sami was saying stuff about him, board members getting involved, wages not getting paid. After seeing how well we started and after it going downhill, really just Yücel saying that has just confirmed my fears, and it's made me quite upset, man.
Do you think if we would have 33 points now, 33 points after 16 games instead of 26, so that's 7 more points. If we would have 7 more points right now, do you think Giovanni Van Bronckhorst would still be in charge?
I think he deserved to be if he's got over 2 points per game with a team that's not get like a winger and stuff like that. I think he should definitely stay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wasn't even completely sure about him being sacked, to be honest, at the time. And now it's basically been confirmed that this guy was wrongly done by, and there's so many issues, and he was probably one of the last people to blame for the situation we're in. I mean, look, now we've changed the coach.
I mean,
as a caretaker.
Yeah, but you cannot overlook the mistakes, the glaring mistakes he made, though.
There's mistakes, man, but like
glaring mistakes.
But the actual gameplay could have been a lot better if the guy had a clear head and was able to focus properly.
Yeah, but do you need a clear head to not to bench Masuaku?
I mean, you shouldn't need that, but see if the overall gameplay was good and it was good like the start of the season, and he had a clear mind, and he was able to put all the work in and give himself fully to it. We even despite Masuaku, would have still been getting great results potentially. Because we were getting good results with Masuaku in at the start, were we not?
Yeah, but he was also costing us, that 3-3 in Lugano, for example.
Yeah, he did, but I think I'm just kind of. I think I'm always going to be thinking. As someone that actually didn't want Gio, I think after that start and then how badly it went, and then it basically been accepted by the president of the club that it was basically, he says he took the blame, well, not on himself personally, but as the board and the stuff going on in the background and the unpaid wages. He's taking that responsibility now. But I think I'm always going to have, until we are good again, until this football team is back to their heights, where we can be, once we're competing for titles again and maybe winning titles, I think I'm going to always have a kind of thought of what if with Giovanni, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you think you'll be thinking that until we're good again?
I don't know. I feel like... Oh, that's a tough question, man. I think, what if the conditions would have been normal-ish, at least for Turkish football standards? Yeah, I definitely think if the conditions would have been not shit like they are right now, like it's ridiculous the situation we're in. I definitely think we would be in I think we wouldn't be winning the title because Galatasaray are running away with it. Let's be honest. I mean, how many points do they have at this point?
I mean, they've only dropped points twice.
Two or three times they dropped points, I think.
Yeah, twice, 2 draws.
Yeah.
That's it.
So they have what? They have, I don't even know. I haven't looked at the table in ages, but like they must be approaching 50 points, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, they were 6th, man. Okay, so 6th again.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter right now. But how many points do Gala have?
To be honest, man, I stopped looking at that.
Yeah, let's have a look. Super League. So Galatasaray right now, after 16 games, have 44 points. So even if we would be having a decent season, where you're like 30, like I would argue Fenerbahce have had a decent season so far, like point-wise, 36 points after 16 games. That's in a normal season. That's title contending season. If we would have, say, 35 points right now, I think that wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility, because I think, Hatay, Adana Demir, this game, Alanya, you win those matches, I think. If you're half decent, you win them. Adana Demir, I mean, we should always be beating them. Alanya yesterday, that wasn't a good team. We didn't drop points against the good Alanya side.
They done nothing all game.
No,
man.
that's
still can do it.
I think if you're half decent, you win that match, and the same thing could be said. Like, just Hatay, this one, and Adana Demir. I think if you win those games, that's 7 more points. That puts you on 33 points, and then we're not even talking about Gaziantep and stuff like that, because that can happen. A match like Gaziantep, that can happen where you're 1-0 up and you give it away in the final seconds. That happens. That's football. But I think we could easily be on 33, 34, 35 points right now. If things were just a little bit normal at the club right now. And if that were to be the case, yeah, then definitely I think Giovanni Van Bronckhorst would still be in charge. We probably would not have lost the Maccabi game, because I think that was at the height of the crisis. And I think that...
And then would be in the knockout, in the playoff. The next.
Well, maybe you don't beat them, maybe you draw, whatever. But let's say you beat them, then you're in the next round of the Europa League. That's a success. Then you're in a decent place in the league. That's a success. I think then we would be having a somewhat enjoyable season.
Yeah, and then you sign a couple of guys in January. You get that wire. You get a new left back.
I don't think we would have beaten Fener.
Then we're talking about Champions League football.
I don't know if we would be beating Fener though. So let's be honest, we beat Fener.
Well, we just beat them in this shit situation we're in. We just beat them.
But we got really lucky. Let's be honest.
We did, but that was in this situation. Like, if we never fell into this situation, would we be getting lucky?
Maybe.
Against Fenerbahce? Maybe not.
We don't know. No, I mean, yeah, it's.
And if you look at how good we were playing at the start, and then if we were able to, obviously not maintain that, but play somewhere up close to that, and then add the things the positions we need in January,
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason why we couldn't have ended second this year, man.
No, I mean there's a distinct chance that Fenerbahce once the realization sets in that the championship is gone, that their whole season derails. Because I think for like they're going into the season, like their ambition is very different than ours. Ours is let's challenge. Fenerbahce's ambition was we have to win the championship. We have to be champions.
Yeah.
This is a very different way to go into a season. If you 25 games in know, okay, there's no chance of us becoming champions, and that's the only goal you really had that season, that could have a negative impact on the remaining 10 games or whatever. If you're going into the season, we're just here to be competitive, and you're still in a relatively good position at that point, like, you keep going, you know, and you adjust accordingly. I think, that's. We definitely wouldn't be in the situation we are in right now, but unfortunately, you know, like we said before, if you know, Captain Hindsight, it's been clear the writing was on the wall as soon as they took office. And that's also kind of the reason why I'm not very keen on Adale, because I feel like a lot of the things that he's saying are things that he feels are things that people want to hear. You know, the populist radar is going off in my head. I think it's very clear that Arad was doing that as well. Like, he was saying the things people wanted to hear.
Yeah, but on the same coin, we're talking about this mess. You're literally the other candidate is the second in charge of this regime that was so bad.
But how much impact does the second one in charge really have, Cartel? If tomorrow, you know, let's say Donald Trump takes office in the United States tomorrow, and he decides to launch the nuclear bomb on Russia or whatever, like, what can the vice president do to stop him?
I'd probably talk to him at best.
No, but I mean, like, when America decided to invade Iraq or Afghanistan or whatever, do you think that the vice president had to sign off on that? I don't know. Maybe he did, but
these things normally not go through. Well, I think it's Congress or whatever in America, or Senate, whatever they call it.
But let's.
Yeah, we need to go through the Parliament first.
Hypothetical situation.
I mean,
how much power does a vice president really have? Because people keep saying, yeah, well, but he was part of it. He was the vice president, but. If you're being overruled by the president, how much power does a vice president really have? Like, what can you really do?
I mean, we weren't there, cancel.
No, we weren't. But like, I feel like people are being really harsh in that regard, because you were part of it. Yeah, I mean, Serdar Adala was also part of the worst board in history of this club. Do we hold him responsible for Yildirim Demirören? We went from 25 million lira debt in 2004, which was, I don't know, 10 million euros in 2004. We went to 460 million lira debt in 2012, which is around 200 million. So we increased our debt by an exorbitant amount, over 150 million extra debt piled on in those 8 years. And he was there for 18 months of those 8 years or whatever. Let's not forget he was also in prison for a while.
Yeah.
Whether or not that was justified or not.
You need to add that bit in, man.
Sorry?
He was in prison for Beşiktaş. You know, that's what they always say, Beşiktaş için hapis yattı.
Yeah, I mean,
prison for Beşiktaş.
I mean, like, do we hold Serdar Adala responsible for what Demirören did to the club?
Oh man, we don't, but
no, so
for me, man,
why should we hold Yücel responsible? If anything, what he is responsible for is probably prolonging the Hasan Arat presidency, because of his financial injections. This board probably went on longer than it should have been allowed to go on it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, Yücel said himself that this board wouldn't have lasted 3 months if they didn't have that money.
Yeah, he's probably right. But that's sad.
Yeah.
But then I wonder as well, like, why didn't they do the whole? They should have gotten out of the boards, the banks union stuff. Like, they should have tried to get out of that straight away. That would have been so much better for the club.
Yeah, I mean, for me, man, I just want to see football and people making footballing decisions, and just now the closer candidate for letting that happen is Salah.
But do you trust Salah to fix the problems at the club?
I mean, I think I don't. I mean, I've been on record, Cameron, saying that I think they're both right. So
yeah, but who of these two candidates do you have the most confidence in that will fix the financial issues of the club, or at least not fix? We have almost $300 million debt. Like, you can't fix that overnight. But from these two, if we can get out of the bank union agreement, that is massive, because then the club, essentially the budget doubles. The annual budget doubles.
They both say they're going to do it in different ways.
Yeah. Who do you trust to do it, though? Which of the two?
If Ugel's actually going to do it, I want to see signed papers of all 45 businessmen that are going to put $2 million each. I want them to see a signed document proving that they're going to do it. Because, to be honest, I don't really trust it either. Ugel is probably more likely to get it done quicker because of said plan. It's not the real estate plan. The real estate plan is going to take a while.
Why is it not realistic?
What I'm going to say, right? Whoever gets voted in, see if these 45 businessmen agree they give $2 million each. I think they should.
But it's not give, eh? Capital, it's not give, eh? It's loan.
Borrow. Right. Borrow. I think Adela should pledge the same thing.
Yeah, I don't understand why he doesn't.
Yeah. Pledge to borrow the 45.
Well, I know why he doesn't, because he cannot guarantee the loan, because he doesn't have that type of money, probably.
Yeah.
But then he should find a way too, I think. I think that is, in my opinion, the best way to clear the bank union debt, and then you can still continue and go on with the other projects. Why does it have to be one or the other? Why can't it be both? I think if you can get
I'd like to, if this real estate project's good, man, I'd like to see Ugel do it as well. But he made some joke about it just being an empty field or something like that. Was it a watermelon field? They said, I can't quite remember.
I mean,
so it seems like maybe Ugel doesn't have much faith in that project.
I don't know where the land is located or what this or that, but I mean, obviously, once an empty plot of land is great, you can do a lot of you can do everything you want on an empty plot of land.
Exactly.
But it needs to be located in a good area, of course. Otherwise, it's not very valuable. I don't know. I'd love to see the details on this real estate project. There's a lot of stuff. Ever since that the whole debate, I feel like Adala has been scrambling. So you have this feeling that Adala is gonna win, and that it's looking like he's gonna win. But I don't know, man, because he's scrambling big time, and I don't think you're scrambling like that if you aren't aware. Like, I don't know.
Even look at our WhatsApp group, man. The OG WhatsApp group. Most of the people in there aren't that happy, man.
Aren't what? Sorry.
Most of the people in the OG group, man, aren't happy with Ugel. You've got like Saadi, Emre. I've just said today, look, Emre's unhappy about Masuaku, and then Saadi's just saying that we've got solid evidence with Masuaku playing, and he thinks that Ugel should have just made him cadre this year. Then Saadi said also, like, what we're seeing Ugel's presidency just now, and that's been a sentiment I've seen in some other streams as well. We're seeing Ugel's presidency just now, and is he doing a good job just now?
Do you think that that the president of a club should dictate to whoever's coaching the team that who he can play and who he can't play?
I think he shouldn't, but I think Ugel's basically made Masuaku a target by saying that he's the only player that kind of filed a lawsuit against the club for the unpaid wages.
But also, Ugel said that. So we've been talking about this for the last half hour. Is that he said that we should have that we should have left Gio alone rather. Not gotten so involved.
That's what Emily said. I'm not saying that's my opinion.
No, I know what you mean, but like,
Yeah.
I don't think that a club president should be telling the coach who to play and who not to play.
Oh, I agree.
I also don't think that an interim coach should be in charge for more than 3 games.
Yeah, and why have we had an interim coach for more than 3 games? Because the guy that's running the club just now thought he had someone lined up. He thought, I'll get this guy easily. It didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
And now we're in this position because he sacked our coach.
Yeah.
We've got his shout out to you, man. I hope you're enjoying your Christmas dinner or whatever it is you're doing. But shout out to you, man. We've got a cardboard cutout of a coach on the sideline just now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the situation we're in because our coach was sacked because the president thought we had someone else in lined up, but it didn't work out that way. So that's Usain's fault. We're in this predicament just now.
And Serdar Toprak, I don't even think he has the ambition to be a first team coach.
Yeah, and do you want me to be honest, man? Like, I might sound like a bit of a dick here, but I can't really take him seriously when he talks.
What's wrong with him? What's wrong with how he talks?
He just doesn't come across. I don't want to be that guy, but he doesn't strike me as like the sharpest, like tool in the box.
I don't know.
If you know.
I don't know.
And because of that, I struggle to kind of take him seriously. He seems like a lovely guy. Don't get me wrong.
I think if you're asking, like, I feel like ever since he took over, Rafa has been coaching more than he has been. And like,
Yeah.
is
Is that a good thing, man? It's fucking not. It's not.
Yeah, and that's not how it should be, right? Like,
we're in this predicament because of UCL just now.
yeah. I mean, if you didn't have somebody lined up, you might as well have left Giovanni Van Bronckhorst in charge, I suppose.
Exactly, and that's what I've been saying for weeks.
Yeah. Although, I mean, I was very much of the opinion as well at the time, like, he needs to go. But at the time, it didn't look like we were going to go to elections. But now we're going to elections, and I kind of understand, like, unless both candidates agree we want this coach.
Do they have?
Yeah, but do they though, Carta? Because now Adali is saying, okay, maybe I want to get a not sporting director, and I don't know if he's gonna end up with Sergen then.
Well, let's see. But they both supposedly want Sergen, so let's see. That's what they've been saying. And to be fair, Sergen's the guy that forced this election. See if Sergen said yes, I'll come. Usually wouldn't have come this election.
Probably not, though. I don't think so either. That's something that Adala pointed out as well in their head-to-head interview.
And that's one thing that I like to thank Sergen for, because this way UJL, if he wins or if he doesn't win, if he wins, he will now be an elected president. Yeah. And because it would be seen as quite controversial for him making transfers and whatnot, I think this was very important because we need to make transfers if we've got any hope of doing anything this season, whether that's win the cup or get into that third place.
Yeah. Agreed, man. Agreed. Fully agree with what you're saying. I need to check.
We need to be able to make a coaching hire as well, whether it's Sergen or not. To be honest, I'd rather someone else at this point, but I'd rather Sergen than fucking Toprak, man.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you on that one. I'm not super fond of. I mean, I like Serdar Toprak fine. It's just that
he seems like a lovely guy, man. I've got nothing against.
Yeah, and
it's not a Beşiktaş level coach.
But I'm very curious what would happen to Serdar though. Like, I mean, if Sergen comes, I'm sure that that he would be on Sergen's staff. I don't think Sergen would have any issues with that because they know each other very well.
Yeah.
What
though, Karen, is see the fact that I feel like Toprak has basically been forced on the last 2 coaches we've hired. Like, I don't agree with that, man. I don't. I think you should just keep, like, let the coach come in with their own staff. Like, don't force some guy on them, man, who they're going through pressure that they're saying yes to.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. But then the problem is, what happens to Serdar though? Because Veli Kavlak is now in charge of of the youth, of the under 19s. So Toprak Tip is.
I just get this feeling that Sardar Toprak TV is going to be forced on every coach as an assistant until the end of time.
I mean, yeah.
As long as coaching for.
I mean, he would definitely be. I would say that would be doing him dirty if he would now suddenly not be left without a job. Don't you agree?
Yeah, but I think maybe at this point, another team would take a punt on him. What do you think? Considering they won the cup.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, teams took punts on Under Carivedi, man. Not in Super League teams, but he had a couple of jobs in the Petite Range League and stuff like that.
Mm. Yeah, maybe you're right.
He done less than Sardar. But to be fair, he had a much better points per game by Sardar, but that's a different story.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you want to hear something funny?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, apart from Gio, see between. In fact, no, that's not true. I'm forgetting Sheldon Ganesh. But see, did you know that like Under Caravelli had a better points per game than like Reza Shalambay, Burak Yilmaz, Santos, Valerian Ismail? Like Under and Sat Toprak Tippy. Like Under Caravelli had a better points per game than all those coaches. Did you know that?
But he wasn't particularly competent either, was he?
Oh, he wasn't, but I'm just saying.
No.
Just saying, maybe it's time for another.
I mean, obviously, like there, I don't think we're gonna be able to bring in a good foreign coach, and at this point, I think bringing in a foreign coach is just asking for problem anyway, because the media will criticize him relentlessly unless it's like Diego Simeone or something, and even then, like they'll jump down his throat at the first chance they get. So it almost it has to be a Turk at this point, right? Like it has to be. So
I mean, it's down to the club to protect the coach and come out and make statements whenever.
Yeah, but you can't protect the coach from perception, though. Like you can't. Like how can you protect the coach from malicious media attacks? You can't. Like Serjan Dikme, Firat Gunayer, all those guys are gonna say whatever they want, man. And I mean, you don't help the situation by appointing guys like Fernando Santos. Yeah,
you don't. No, because I feel like that was just a stupid appointment, man. Like at the time, even.
Yeah, but that's the first big mistake in a wash list full of big mistakes that board made. Like,
yeah.
Like how do you feel, for example, about Musrati and Mucci, their future at the club right now?
I think it's a foregone conclusion that Musrati is going to be sold in January, probably to Saudi Arabia. I mean, I always kind of liked Musrati, but in fact, I liked him a lot, man. I even got he ended on the back of my black shirt, but after that Bodo game, it just came to a point where I couldn't defend him anymore because it's just been too many mistakes, man, in vital moments.
That's gonna leave a gaping hole, though. Like, because if you sell,
6-12, and what's going to happen? Maybe they'll call back Haji Metovic, but the thing is, see if Sergen's going to be the coach. Let's just say it's going to be Sergen.
Yeah.
Like Amir or Musrati, they don't suit Sergen's style. You need like a Joseph type.
Well, I mean, Amir is more combative, I would say. But yeah, maybe they call back Amir. Yeah.
Is he good combatively? I don't think so.
Not like Joseph, no.
I don't think. I think, funnily enough, I think the six that suits Sergen the most that we have is Onana, but he's shite. So.
Yeah, did you see? Yeah, he got booed as well, or I hope not more than that, but he got like heckled when he came on the bench, and he apparently flipped off the fans. So
yeah, no, but that's disgusting. He shouldn't be doing that. He should be fined for that, man. Like, you can't be doing.
I mean, I don't know what the fans did. Maybe they said some profanity that is unacceptable, but still.
Still, man, you're a professional. Yeah. You're getting paid to be there.
Ignore it. You're earning, $1.5 million a year.
Exactly. Like, put it this way: as much as I condemn the fans for swearing and insulting them, it's wrong. You should never do that. Those fans are paid money to be there. You're getting paid to be
unless
there.
They're being like racist or something.
Yeah, of course.
that's unacceptable.
I mean, even at that, you should stay professional, and then hopefully that those people are
I could
invested in it.
understand that if they were like throwing a banana at him or something, or like that.
No bananas. Maybe they're making monkey gestures or something stupid like that. But
I
don't
think
know.
if they were, we would have heard about it. So like that's not something.
Yeah,
That's not something you expect in the Beşiktaş stadium. But you know,
Yeah.
I mean, whether they're booing him or they're calling him names or whatever, like you know, telling him to go home, whatever. It's usually the type of stuff that they yell. I think you need to stay composed and professional and just go sit on the bench and make your money. Because Do you want to just finish off these comments, Karen, and then we'll wrap this up? let's do so. Yes.
Yeah. So Nathan Davis has said, I also wonder if he wasn't having some personnel decisions dictated to him. Who knows though? Well, we don't know what was dictated for him, but clearly some stuff was being dictated to him, and they were getting in the way of some sort of decision making. Otherwise, Hussein Ujel wouldn't have said what he said. What do you think about that, Ken?
I wouldn't know what would be dictated to him because I had the impression that he had the freedom to operate, you know, the way he wanted to. I mean,
clearly not. Going off of what Ujel said, he said we got involved.
Yeah, but I think he means like, you know, transfers and stuff like that. I would imagine. I don't know what he's referring to. I wouldn't know what it would be.
If it's bad enough that he said that he was making a coach that was going and started very well, and if it's making him unsuccessful, you think there's maybe they've been criticising him or like telling him, oh, that's, I don't know, maybe they've been talking shit to him.
I don't know, maybe it was like you have to play Sami or something.
Yeah, who knows? Like the clearly something's went on, and we know that Sami Baba has been talking rubbish about him, and that's pissed him off, and we know he had a bit of a tumultuous relationship with Baba. That's pretty clear.
You know, Baba shouldn't have been there. Let's be honest. Like that's
the board's fault. He should have been sacked.
That's the single biggest. I think. I mean, there's been a plethora of mistakes made. I think that's one of the biggest ones, though. That Baba was allowed to be there, and he had no business being there anymore at that point.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry. Were there any comments left after that?
Yeah, there was one more by Nathan.
Yeah, go ahead.
So he said, getting through to the knockout stages would have been a big W. I mean, we can still do it. Probably
Getting
not.
what? Sorry. Oh, the group. Yeah, we can still do it, but I mean, Athletic Club is gonna be tough.
Probably signed, but they're still on paper. Mathematically, we still have a chance.
Yeah. Twente is probably our best chance.
Yeah, and I think even because our goal difference is bad, we might need 10 points.
Yeah. There's a good chance of that, and the chances.
We need to get against Bilbao, and
so then we'd have to get a point against Bilbao and beat Twente. Yeah. So that's all. I think the chances of us qualifying are sub 10% at this point.
Yeah, I think so too, man. Unfortunately, and it was looking very good after we beat Lyon and Malmö.
Yeah.
If we beat Maccabi, that was us through almost.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I think we didn't deserve to lose to Bodo Glimt either.
No, we were unlucky, but that's also part of the. I think if you go to that Bodo Glimt game and you're half decent and your players have confidence, you don't lose that one. But because of we one stroke of bad luck, but also again the decisions made by the coach there, like said that why suddenly is Ersin starting?
Yeah, my honourable playing at night, man.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that'll do it for this week's episode, or this episode rather. On Friday, we have the election special. We have a special guest joining us, one of our regulars that comments in the live chat. Carlito will be joining us live. Carta, you won't be joining us because you have a late shift. And you won't be able to come on until 10. So maybe you can join us later in the broadcast, but you'll not be able to join us at the start at least. I don't know if...
Yeah, see, man, it just depends. But just because of normally the latest shift I'll have will be an 8 o'clock finish, which is 9, that's 8 GMT, but it'd be 9 Central European time.
Yeah.
But over this Christmas period, they've put in a couple of 9 finish shifts, so... it's just going to be a one-off. It's not a regular thing, thankfully. But yeah, we'll see, man. Like, maybe it'd be better if I just stay away, because I think maybe like a four people on at once might be a bit much.
But hopefully you'll join us in a live chat at least, huh?
Yeah, I might send a few wee messages. We'll see.
So we're having Carlito on, and Carlito actually has a background in the banking sector. He is from the Netherlands. He works at a bank, so he understands all that kind of stuff a lot better than we do. So we're gonna ask him a couple of questions. If you have questions to ask, feel free to maybe already join the WhatsApp community. Let us know if you have specific questions, and Carlito can do a little bit of homework and look into it, because obviously he's not going to know all that stuff off the cuff, especially when it comes to the finances from the club. But we're going to have him on, and it will be Sinan and I on Friday. And we'll be talking all about the elections, all about both candidates, who we're leaning towards. You already know who I'm leaning towards. You already know kind of who Sinan is leaning towards, but maybe he's gotten swayed by some of the promises made by Adale in recent days. And we'll also learn who Carlito is leaning towards. I'm going to call him Carlito for now, because I don't know if he wants me to mention his real name. But that's going to be our show for Friday, so please join us then. It's scheduled at 7:30 Central European Time. I'm going to try and sort out this issue with our chat, because I really want to be able to see all your comments on the live chat. So I hope to see you on Friday. Other than that, please go and check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/Beşiktaş podcast and become a member today. 7-day free trial is always a given, but also if you use the coupon code that's on the front page of Patreon, until the 5th of January, you can actually get 75% off on your first month. But you do have to use that coupon code to get it. So that's 75% off. That's 50 cents instead of $2 or $1.99 for the month. Lots of extra content. Kartal and I actually did about an hour and 10 minutes or so this week on a VIP podcast talking about the interview between Hüseyin Yücel and the head-to-head debate between Yücel and Adale. Yeah. And I also did a VIP podcast on my own earlier in the week. On top of that, we have a new series that is premiering on Patreon, which is called the Black Eagle Stories, or Black Eagle Stories, in which I sit down and interview a Black Eagle with an interesting story to tell. And our first episode was with Dara Hensi, who is a fan of Beşiktaş. He has no connection to Turkey other than going on vacation there with his parents in 1997. He's from Ireland and he became a Beşiktaş fan. So I sat down, talked to him, and he told me the story of how that came about, who his favorite players are, his fondest memories, all that kind of stuff. And I also interviewed our very own Mario Vargas, somebody who you will be familiar from in our live chats. He is here all the time talking.
Not today.
Sorry?
Not today.
Not today, but he's here all the time. And Mario is actually an American with a Cuban / Costa Rican background. He married a Turkish woman, moved to Turkey, and he tells us the story of how he fell in love with Beşiktaş. So that's a new series on Patreon exclusively right now. I will upload those as we go along to YouTube, but our Patreons get exclusive early access. And I'll be doing more of those interviews as the time goes on. If you feel like you have a very interesting story to tell about how you became a Beşiktaş fan, you don't need to be a foreigner or anything like that. If you just have a fun story that you want to share with us, fun memories you want to share with us, do reach out to me. And the way to do that is also via the WhatsApp community. If you become a Patreon member, a free member, you don't have to be a paid member, you actually get access to our WhatsApp community. What were you going to say, Kartal?
I'd personally love to see Nathan Davis on Black Eagle Stories. I'd really like to hear what his story is and how he became a Beşiktaş fan. So Nathan, if you're still listening, man, I know you were here earlier. Come on, man. Let's do a Black Eagle Stories with you.
Definitely, I would love to hear Nathan's full story. And he has only been a Black Eagles fan for a little while, I know. He's only been a couple of months, actually. I know he... but I'm not going to spoil anything. I don't know the full story anyway.
Don't man, like, we need to entice people to pay the $1.99 a month, man. You're telling the story.
I'm not. I'm only giving them a...
You're the worst salesman I've ever seen in my life.
Pulling the curtain back a little bit. But yeah, I'll definitely see if I can sit down with Nathan and a lot of other people. But if you feel like you have an interesting story to tell, please do reach out to me and we can schedule something and plan that interview and then have it on the Patreon page in the next couple of weeks. And of course, as we go on, it'll appear on YouTube at some point. But
And I just want to say that both interviews so far have been great. I mean, so, I'm coming from an honest place here because it's not me that done the interviews, it was Karen. But both interviews are very interesting, especially Mario's. I thought was brilliant. His story was great. So if you haven't signed up already, you're missing out, man. Get on Patreon and become a Black Eagles VIP member. We're waiting for you.
Anyway, that'll do it for this week's episode of the Black Eagles podcast. Sinan isn't here, so I'm going to hand the microphone over to Kathal to take us out, and he will also be thanking our lovely Patreon members at the end as the final outro song goes on.
So an excited time ahead, folks. We've got an election. As much as we're in disarray just now and it's a bad time for the club, these elections are always exciting. So I just want to say that any Congress members, please go out and vote. We need to decide the club's future. Also, it's just been a tough time in general in 2024 Beşiktaş. Let's just hope that 2025 is a lot better and we improve. I mean, I feel like we've been saying that for a while now, but hopefully 2025 is the year that Beşiktaş are back, and we can start racking up some wins and working our way up the table. And then hopefully from the 25-26 season we can start competing again. I just want to say, folks, remember, always stay with Beşiktaş.
İyi günde, kötü günde.
Exactly. In the bad days and the good days, stay with Beşiktaş, folks.
That's a great way to take that. Thank you, Kathal. Let's go to the outro.
So I'd like to thank our Patreons. Özkan, Zarzavachi, Atuja, Mala, Paul O'Connor, Nathan Davis, Finish Kebab, Niall Tarek, Dara Hennessy, Mario Vargas, Keith Gregory. I mean, it seems like Niall Tarek's a very important.
He's in there twice. That's my mistake.
And then finally, the Dutch Eagle.
See you on Friday, folks. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.